Welcome to Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters podcast. From ghosts, UFOs, Dogman, medical miracles, and other strange encounters of the unknown. Every Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. live, Facebook and YouTube. Here's the elusive big guy himself, your host, Dave Weiger.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about ghosts. We're going to be talking about Bigfoot, UFOs, and a little bit more. So before I go to my guest, our guest tonight is going to be John Curley. I'm going to put John's photo up before I bring him in, and I'm going to read a little bit about him. All right, John was born in Baltimore City, Maryland. He had his first paranormal UFO encounter at the age of 15. From that point, he was hooked on the paranormal. John enjoys Bigfoot, ghosts, and whatever material he could read about. John really got involved in 1998, dabbling with EVP work in Gettysburg. In 2000, he formed a paranormal group with his friend Don Frank. Together, they created the Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society. They went on to do more than 1,000 cases together over a span of 20 years. They were featured on national TV on the Animal Planet, the haunted episode, The Bloody Man, that currently airs on Netflix. And John appeared on Ghost Nation with Jason Hawes from TAPS in The Lady in Black. Yeah, of course, my page is going to stick. Okay, the Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society is also part of the TAPS family. John has a podcast called The Paranormal Journal. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring John in. Let me just get this off of here. Okay, here we go. John, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
Oh, not much. Just a few technical things I had to work out before I came on. And yeah, let me just flip this page here. All right. John, first I want to thank you for coming on to the show and being our guest tonight. We're going to turn the chat room on very shortly. That was one of the things I had to work with. So, John, let's start by you telling everyone about your UFO experience when you were, 15?
Yeah, I was 15, yeah. Yeah, I lived in Baltimore City, inner city Baltimore, near Druid Hill. And I was 15 years old. I was going to a recreation center in our neighborhood. And was walking down the main street. I was maybe 2 blocks from my house. And I was walking with my cousin. And I was walking and I caught something out of the corner of my eye. And I kind of looked over. And I think it might have been moving at a high rate of speed and it all of a sudden just stopped or something. I'm not sure, but I've just seen this like blue incandescent light kind of just like pulsing in and out, kind of like a heartbeat almost. It was kind of, but it made no sound, but it was just going in and out, in and out. And I never took my eyes off of it. I just kept looking at it while I was walking. And I kind of reached over to my cousin. I was, hey man, look at this. And I pointed at it. And when I pointed at it, it just took off, just like out of sight, man. In like less than a second. It was, I mean, if I would have blinked my eyes, I would have never seen the direction it went in. It was just, it was amazing. It just took off, no sound. nothing. I mean, it just was like it was a bright flash. It was like a flash, and then it just went poof, and it was just. I mean, it went thousands of miles in less than a second. It was incredible. And I just looked at my cousin. I was like, "Man, did you see that?" And he was like, "What?" I was like, "Dude, that was a UFO." I was like, "It was like something out of Star Wars, right? You know, when they go in the light speed, you know, it's like, phew, and it was amazing, man. It was my start of my paranormal career, man. Like that was it right there. I was hooked after that. I also started reading books and trying to watch shows. I mean, back then we had like In Search of, and That's Incredible, and you know, we didn't have like
Oh,
TV
I
shows
loved every
nowadays.
one of them. Yeah.
Oh my god, I loved In Search of. That was the best, man.
Yeah. And Sightings. Let's not forget that one.
Yeah, Sightings. Yep, remember Sightings came out, and I just started getting into all that stuff, reading, and that's when I read about Roswell, and I started reading about like Amityville and the Exorcist. The Exorcist actually came out right in the time era, like you know when I was small. But I started reading stuff about that when I got older, and I was just like, man, this stuff's pretty fascinating. And then I started getting into more of the paranormal side uh of things instead of going into the UFO side. I went into the paranormal side. But I was still fascinated with UFOs. Still am to this day. I still look to the skies all the time to see if I see that thing
Oh
again.
yeah.
And I've never seen anything quite like it again, which is I'm just amazed. I'm just happy that I've seen it. You know what I mean? You see something, it's like you got to see it to believe it. You know what I mean? You're kind of like not a believer until you actually see it. You know, when you see this, you're like,
That's right.
wow, man, this was pretty amazing. Yeah, these things are real. There's definitely some other kind of technology out there, aliens, life forms that way more advanced than we are.
So my first experience with a UFO was when I was 11 years old. My brother was waiting to be picked up. He was going on a 2-week camping trip to Canada. And we were standing in the parking lot, and one of the guys looked up and said, "What is that?" So we all looked up, and my brother goes, "Oh my God, I forgot my camera. I left it on the dresser. Can you run down and get it?" Well, we only lived like a half a block away, so I ran down, got the camera. By the time I got back, it was moving because it was sitting still. But I got to see it for a few more minutes before it took off, and just like you said, at a high rate of speed, gone. Now in 2018, I came home from work with my nephew and my wife after doing some karaoke, and we pulled in the driveway, and my nephew happened to look up, and he saw 3 bright orange lights sitting right next to each other. So he's tried to get his phone to work to take a picture, and his phone, for some reason, his phone just like froze. So he even tried to reset it. That wouldn't work. So all of a sudden, the first one takes off at a high rate of speed, shoots across the sky, and just goes out. The second one did the same thing. And then the third one did the same thing. So, yeah, I've been there. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, man. When you see something like that, you know, it just defies all physics and everything that we know about, you know, aerial technology and stuff. It's just like, there's no way that a human being could survive that kind of G-force of from a standstill to out of sight in less than a second. You know, they would just be disintegrated. You know what I mean? The G-force would crush them into nothing. You know, it would be there's no way someone could survive that.
Now I live in not sure if you're familiar with it, but I live in Bucks County, PA.
Oh yeah.
And recently, there's been a tremendous amount of UFO sightings in the area. Now, I stepped out to get some fresh air one night, and I looked up, and I seen something going up. I seen something coming down. I seen it going left, going right, just moving around. I'm like, it can't be a drone. It's way too big. So I called my wife to the door. She looked out the door, and she said, "I don't know, but you better get in here." I said, "I'll be in a minute. I want to keep my eye on this." And it just like the 3 orange lights, it went out, gone.
Wow.
But it was way up there. It couldn't have been adjourned. So
yeah, I mean, once you, like I said, man, you see stuff like this, it just confirms even more that there's definitely some kind of alien technology. We're not the only people in the universe. I mean, it'd be kind of silly to think that we're the only people living in the whole universe. We don't even know how big the universe is. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah.
how could we think we're the only people that are living beings? You know what I mean? That's just doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh yeah, John. Let me. I'm gonna open the chat room and let's see. Come on. Okay. All right. To the listeners, if you type a message, please include your name next to it because for some reason, Facebook doesn't show your name. Now, if you type it beside your message, I'll know who you are and I can put it up there if you have a question for me or John. Let's see, where was I? Let me ask you this. What has been your most frightening moment in the paranormal?
Most frightening moment. I had a couple. Most frightening, probably when I was using the bathroom one time and something came up on me in the bathroom. I didn't see it, but I felt the breeze come in, like someone came in the bathroom, and I was taking a leak. You know, just taking a leak. You know what I mean? I'm like, and all of a sudden, man, I hear this voice in my ear, like someone like put their hand into your ear, and it was like it said that the creepiest voice, almost like you ever watched the movie The Exorcist, that girl's demonic voice. It kind of sounded like that, but a higher pitch. And it said, there are many, but I'm one. Man, I couldn't get out of that bathroom fast enough, man. I kicked the freaking door open, jumped down probably 5 or 6 flights, 5 or 6 steps to the landing, out the door I went. I was like, I don't know what the hell that was, man, but I wasn't sticking around to find out. I was like, I don't know what it got up close and personal. Like, and I can almost feel like breath like on my face. It was that close, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I might have peed on these people's toilet seat, and I don't know. I can't even. I couldn't get out of there. I was like, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. And I went outside for about 20 minutes. I sat out in my car, and one of my guys came out, and he's like, "Hey, man, you coming in?" I was like, "Yeah." I didn't tell him what happened. I said, "Yeah, I'll be in." And so I told him I lied to him, said I had to make a call or something. And I came in, and we were sitting down, just looking over the cameras, and I told him, I said, "Hey, if you're upstairs, don't make sure you're not alone." And he's like, "Why?" I was like, just don't be alone. Have somebody with you, on the second floor for, just got a weird vibe. I didn't tell him exactly what happened. I was like, I'll wait to tell him when we leave. And after that, they experienced the same thing. They heard a voice in between them. I was sitting 3 feet away from them, and they were sitting on the other side of the table together. And they both looked at each other with this crazy look on their face. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And they're like, "You didn't hear that?" And I'm like, I didn't hear anything. He's like, "You didn't hear that creepy ass voice?" I'm like, "I didn't hear anything." And they're like, "Dude, I don't know what that was, man, but it was creepy sounding voice right in between us." I'm like, "Dude, I didn't hear anything." And right after that, the chair got pulled back with Carl sitting in it. He was sitting in the chair, and something pulled him away from the table. And he's probably the biggest skeptic in the group, and he wasn't a skeptic after that. And that's the episode we did on Ghost Nation as well. They came up and helped us out on that case.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's another one similar to yours. You can confirm this with John Bowman. John will tell you. Big John.
Big John, good guy.
Yeah, good guy. We were doing an investigation at a pool hall arena where they have pro wrestling and stuff like that. Well, the owner asked me if I could bring my team in there and do an investigation. I said, "Sure, what's going on?" She said, "Well, there's a number of things. I don't really want to tell you." She said, "I'd rather for you to come in, do the investigation, and then I'll share my notes with you after you see what you find." I said, "Okay." So we go in, and we're splitting up, in different areas, doing EVP work and stuff like that. Well, me and John decided to go in the men's room. So we go in and we walked in, and we didn't know this. for some odd reason, if you got too close to the urinals, all of it would just start flushing one right after the other, right?
All sensors on them, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So John says, all right, what are we going to do? I said, I'm going to do some EVP work because one of the pool players in here shared a story with me. He told me that this guy's dad told his son to order him some big cheeseburger they were famous for. And so his son goes and gets it and brings it back, and the guy eats it. And then he tells his son, I got to go to the bathroom. So the guy goes to the bathroom, and he goes in stall number 2. He sits there, and he's crapping, and had a massive heart attack and died right on the toilet.
Wow.
So when me and John were in there, I, of course, went in stall number 2, and I sat down. John said, Dave, I'll be back. I got to go get some fresh batteries. So I said, okay. I said, I'm going to go ahead and start an EVP session and see what I get. So I said, I was sitting down on the toilet, and all of a sudden I had to go. So I did. And I'm like, I'm wondering if this is related, to the guy that crapped. And I'm like, God, I don't need a massive heart attack, So a short time later, John comes back. He opens the door and he says, Dave, you still in here? I said, yeah, but you don't want to come in here right now. and on the recorder, it says he's shitting.
Oh, wow. That's intelligent.
You can ask John. John will confirm it.
Yeah, that's intelligent. That's totally intelligent. Yeah.
So wow. that was a good one. Yeah. Let's I want to show some of your photos that you sent to me, and you could talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll play that video. I'm not going to say what happens. We'll save that for when I play it. But let me go to, let's see. Let's do this one first. John, are you seeing that?
Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about this photo here. What do you see?
This photo is there's a mist in the photo.
Right.
This is a case we did in Minersville, PA. These people that have paranormal experiences their whole life. There's 2 sisters that live in the home, and their whole life they experienced paranormal things in this house. So they said they had the most experiences they had were like down in the basement and on the second floor. They would always feel this right where Tom was. That was my case manager, Tom Muller. Right where he was standing. He said they always felt like there was something watching them, or they would see shadows in the corner and stuff like that. So that picture it's totally dark down there. And Carl, one of the co-founders of the group, he started taking pictures in full spectrum in the dark. And Tom said he had thought he had seen something like this white mist or something. And Carl just started snapping pictures with the full spectrum. And sure enough, in the picture, you see the white mist that Tom said he had seen. He said, I seen a white mist kind of go by me. And that's when Carl just started taking pictures with the full spectrum, and he caught it on the full spectrum camera, which is cool. Yeah, very cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it validated what he's seen, and he captured it.
Okay. What about this one here?
Oh, yeah, this was a case we did when we first started. A friend of mine was a school teacher, and she had a student, and he had came to her and said that he was having issues at home. And she's like, what kind of issues? He said, not like child abuse, but there's like a ghost that lives in my grandmother's house, and we're experiencing all this paranormal phenomena. And I woke up and I was bleeding, and he said, I took my shirt up and I got these huge scratches on my chest and my stomach from this black thing that keeps coming in my room. And we started investigating the case, and sure enough, it was definitely had a lot of paranormal activity going on in it. I think they eventually wound up moving out of that place because it was a rental, but they couldn't take it anymore, and they were just like, I was like, you have a 50-50 chance of getting rid of something if you're going to bring in some kind of clergy or something like that.
Right.
And we did wind up bringing in some clergy, and the activity never stopped. It actually got worse. And then they just moved out. They're like, we can't take it anymore. And I'm sure somebody else is probably living in that home. Maybe, the phenomena didn't happen for a certain family. Maybe just it happened to them. Sometimes it's, revolved around an individual, not so much the location. You know what I mean? Certain individual comes into the house and, they got this certain kind of aura or energy with them. And, maybe there is something in the house. And then all of a sudden they're kind of like, a spark, like a positive to a negative, when they come into a location like that maybe has activity, it creates that spark, and there you go. You're starting to manifest paranormal activity.
Wow.
Pretty cool case, though.
Yeah. All right. Let's put this one up here. Can you see that?
Yep. Yeah, I just seen it. Yep. Yeah, that's a picture I took in Harrisburg Hospital 15 plus years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a private investigation in the Harrisburg Hospital. It's really hard to get into the old Harrisburg Hospital. And a friend of mine, Gary Kanji, he came down from Pittsburgh. He lives in Newcastle, right outside of Pittsburgh, and he gained access to it. And he called me one night. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm down here. Want to investigate the old Harrisburg Hospital?" I was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And I said, "Nobody, it's hard to get in there." And he got us in. We had to have a private escort with us the whole night, but we had an escort from the hospital there. And we started setting up stuff, and we started setting up motion sensors and stuff like that. And we put a motion sensor in one of the old operating rooms, and we were on the floor below, and we heard the motion sensor go off upstairs. So we ran up the stairs, and as soon as I walked through the door, it was completely dark in there. There's no lights. There's nothing. I just started snapping pictures with a regular camera with no flash. There was no flash on. I didn't put any flash on it. I just started first taking pictures, just holding a button, and it was just take like hundreds of pictures. Like the first picture had that shadow figure in it, and all the rest of the pictures was nothing. Right. Just the very first picture had that shadow in it, and the rest of them had nothing. And what's really wild about that picture is I just did a case last year in Harrisburg, and it was a doctor, and he used to work in the old Harrisburg Hospital. And I was telling him, I said, he goes, "Yeah, I used to work in the old Harrisburg Hospital," and he was having paranormal activity in his house. He owned an old 1700s farmhouse that he converted, and he restored it. Beautiful now. And he was telling me that he was encountering a shadow figure in the old Harrisburg Hospital, that they would see it in the operating room. And I said, "You got to be kidding me." He's like, "No." I'm like, "I'm going to show you this picture." I had that picture. I keep that picture on my phone, and I pulled that picture out. I said, "You see that?" He goes, "That's the old operating room." And I said, "How do you know it's the old operating room?" He goes, "Because behind that shadow figure, that's the shadow figure we used to see." He said, "That's the old X-ray machine." He said, "That is exactly what we seen in the old operating room at a Harrisburg Hospital. We used to see that figure all the time in there." And he said, "Can you forward me that picture? I want to show my colleagues that picture because it's amazing." He said, "I can't believe that I'm sitting here looking at what we seen all those years ago, and we could never explain what it is." He said, "I'm a scientist. I'm a doctor." He said, I cannot explain what we seen in that hospital, but you captured it on camera." He said, that is exactly what we seen in that operating room." I'm like, wow, man, I can't. It's just like just so weird that it comes around like that. You know what I mean? Like 360, that all these years later, I come back and there's a doctor that worked at the old Harrisburg Hospital, and he's seen what I captured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't see it when I took the picture. I didn't see anything. It was dark. You couldn't see anything. It was totally dark. And I just started burst picture. And what I did was I put that picture in a program that lightens up the picture. And when I was lightening up the pictures, the first one, it just brightens the room up. You know what I mean? And there it is. It's in the picture. I'm like, oh my God. And I started doing all the other pictures to see if it was in the other pictures. And I took probably 300 pictures, and I did it to every picture. and it wasn't in any other picture but that one.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Before I play this video that you sent to me, have you ever checked to see how far you are from me? How far do you think you are?
I'm probably about 2 hours from you, from Bucks County.
Yeah, 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, let's. I want to hook up with you, and we could do a nice cookout before we do some UFO gazing, if you're interested.
Oh, I'm definitely down with that, man. Definitely, I love that.
John Bowman's been talking about coming down and flying his drones and checking a couple spots out in the area. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be.
Yeah, let me know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, let it get a little bit warmer. I apparently I live. The area that I live in is just a one-street community, and the rest of it's farms and acres of woods, and there's a few businesses around, but yeah, I sometimes go out the carport and I just sit there and I listen, and I have heard whoops and stuff like that from across the road, because from across the road is a farm, and then behind that is acres and acres of wildlife and woods. So yeah, definitely we'll hook up and we'll do something. Let me put this video on. Here we go.
You see me looking around, and at one point I hear the door handle jingle. I look over and the front door just blows open. I sit there for a few minutes just looking to see if someone was going to come in. No one comes in. I go outside. I check the area, and there's no one there.
Tell us a little bit about that. I know the video just did, but
yep. Yeah, that was a pretty cool case. That was the case we did up in Ohio. It was right on the Ohio River, actually. And the guy owned an old piano store. It wasn't really a piano store. He just owned a huge warehouse with all these really old ass pianos. I mean, they were old, man. Some of them were dating back to like 1700, 1800s. He was a real. I mean, the guy knew everything about pianos. His mentor was he tuned pianos for like big time celebrities like Liberace and
wow,
Elton John. Yeah, I mean it was pretty cool. And he had a studio, a recording studio. He played the guitar and stuff like that, and he played piano and stuff, and he would record music. And that's what we were sitting in. The recording studio was sitting kind of where we were sitting. It was behind us, and he said he would experience all this paranormal phenomena in that little vestibule there. Sometimes he would come out and the studio, and it would be lit up like with gold sparkles, and like almost like some kind of heavenly divine kind of thing was there. You know what I mean? It would be like this gold sparkles, and the whole room would be illuminated. And he said just be all kinds of really crazy stuff going on, and a lot of light anomalies banging on the doors and stuff. So we set a camera up right there, and we're just sitting there in the dark and just being quiet, and seeing if something happens. And I'm just looking around, and I hear the door handle like jingling, and it was one of those old, just a knob handle. I hear it moving, and I look over at the door, and it just comes open. I'm like, and it was shut. It was locked, shut, and it comes open. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking at Carl. I'm talking to Carl. I'm like, dude, that door just blew open like really hard. And like I thought somebody was coming through the door, and I'm like, I mean, if you look in the video, I'm like, I kind of look over like, there's somebody getting ready to come through the door, and I'm like, let me get sat there for a few minutes to make sure it wasn't the owner coming back or something, So I get up and I go outside. I check I walk around the whole warehouse, and it's a pretty desolate place. Like where it was, there wasn't any kind of like people walking around. It was like an old industrial park, I mean, it was really old, and it was cool, man. Like it's the first time I'd ever seen a door come open on its own, and we got it on camera, which was cool. And that happened back in 2015. I was back in 2015 when that happened, and I was like, man, all these years I finally captured a door opening up on its own. And then I just captured another one opening up on its own. Well, now we go back there last December. It was in December. Yeah, we went back into this old historic place in Lancaster, and the basement door opens up on its own. I got it on video too. I wanted to get that to you, but I had to cut it down. It was in a longer video, and didn't get a chance to cut it down.
I'm going to show you one, but the door didn't open. Let me tell you just some history on this house. A friend of mine that my wife and I were staying with for a while. Well, we thought he was a friend, but he turned out to be a narcissist. But anyway, his mother had passed, and she, I guess, had unfinished business. She would haunt the house.
Oh, wow.
He would hear her talking. He would hear her crying. And she passed away from cancer. Good woman. But my wife and I would be sitting at the table playing 500 Rummy. And we would hear her moan. We would hear her cry. We would hear her say, hello. So I kept getting my recorder out. And that was the only thing I had with me. It was, the recorder on my phone. So we kept hearing the bedroom door where my friend slept, which used to be his mother's room, his mother and his dad. And we would hear the door shut. We'd hear it creak and open up. And I'd have to go back there and shut it so the dogs wouldn't get in there. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to stand in the hallway the next time the door, starts doing something. So what I did was, being a paranormal investigator, a lot of people, they always come back on you and say, oh, that was probably a draft. That was probably air. It was probably the ceiling fan was probably on. Well, I conducted all kind of tests, okay, to make sure that there was no draft. There was no air flowing under the bed, above the bed, or coming from a window. And there wasn't. And the door would only start opening and closing right after you would hear her. But let me show you this, and you tell me what you think, because I'm going to just show you like the door. The end of the door is here, and the frame's here, and you can see the light in the room between it. But if you pay attention, you'll see something moving. It's not a dark shadow, but it's some kind of a shadow. And I'm gonna play it for you, and you tell me what you think. Let's see where we at here. All right, here we go.
Can you shut that door so I can't see the light? Can you shut the door so I can't see the light? Can you shut the door for me? Oh, my dear Lord. Thank you.
Yeah, that was cool. I seen that.
So that night I filmed that, and by the way, that was my wife. That was like, that was her twice in the video. But right after I filmed that, the video and the audio, everything was peaceful the rest of the night, until the following day. The activity usually started around evening, right after we would have dinner and then sit down and play cards and whatnot. And but if it wasn't every day, it was like every other day. You would hear her moaning, you would hear her crying, you would hear her saying, "Hello, hello."
Wow, that's cool.
But when I would get my recorder out, and I'm sure you've had this experience, you would be in the area and you'd be like, "Oh, why did I bring my recorder back here with me?" And something would happen and you didn't capture it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I've done
as soon
that.
as I went and got my recorder, sometimes it stopped or it just wouldn't happen anymore, for a while. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mentioned it to my friend and he said, just leave it alone. It's my mom. She'll be all right. Okay. This guy had some serious problems. He kept clothes that belonged to his mother and he slept with them. That's how bad he missed his mother. I think
Wow.
that's
kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but I think that's why she was carrying on, because he was so sad. He would sleep in his bed and he would just, hold her shirt and just like use it as a pillow. And
wow, he must have really, he really loved his mom, man.
Yeah,
that's sad.
It really tore him up when she passed away from cancer. But yeah, but I wanted to do more, and he told me to just stop and leave it alone. So I did. So,
that's sad.
So I see you like fishing.
Oh yeah, love it.
I got something for you as soon as I can find it here. I'm gonna send my buddy up to go fishing with you. I'm sorry. Let's see. There you
go. That's cool.
Go fishing.
Hell yeah.
So
I love Bigfoot stuff, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
I wish I could see one time. That'd be awesome.
Have you gone, Squatch?
I had some weird stuff happen when I was four-wheeling one time. Like I said, I went to this. I was up in Caledonia, and there's quite a few reports of Bigfoot in Caledonia State Park, and we were riding our four-wheelers up there. And we got to this spot. I had never seen it before, but there was a clearing in the woods. It was just like a round clearing, and we said, "Man, it's a pretty good spot." The sun was coming down through, and we were like, "Dude, let's just step, drink our Gatorade, and take a little break." So we took our helmets off, and we're sitting there, me and my brother, and we're just sitting there drinking the Gatorade, and I just think it was dead silent. Like, dude, there was no bugs, no birds. I mean, it was dead ass silent. I'm like, "Hey," he was like, "What?" I was like, "You notice something?" He goes, "What?" I was like, "There's no noise." He goes, "Yeah, that's weird." I'm like, "There's not even a bug making a noise." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm getting out." I said, "Let's get the hell out of here, dude. It doesn't feel right." He goes, "What?" I said, something doesn't feel right. I said, I said, "I don't know what it is, man, but let's get the hell out of here, dude." We put our helmets on. We were gone, but it was the weirdest moment I ever had in the woods. I'm like, I've been in the woods a lot, and I'm like, I've never been in the woods and not heard a bird, a bug, and it's springtime, I'm like, this is really weird, man. Like, I don't know, it was dead silent, man. I mean, silent. I'm like, this is really odd, man. Like, I don't know if it was a Bigfoot there or what, or a UFO or something. I don't know what it was, but it was weird, man. It was weird as shit. I was like, this is weird, dude. Like, I don't know what this is, but I'm getting out of here. We left. I didn't see anything, but it was weird.
Well, one night I'm going to share my experience because it's long. I can't do it tonight. But I never seen one. The way you would be standing in front of me and we looking at each other. But I've seen bits and pieces that impressed me to believe that, yes, I've seen an arm and a hand around a tree with something behind the tree. I've smelled it. I've had things thrown at me, but I've never seen one eye to eye or be up, close
What's
to
this?
one.
What's the smell like?
Enough to make you want to,
Get sick. Wow.
bad.
Wow.
It's just foul. It's really, really bad. Have you ever found a dead body?
No, but like I said, I was in a case and I smelled what would probably be a dead body. I smelled dead animals and stuff before.
Okay, worse than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really strong. You can be walking through the woods and you can smell it for a distance.
Wow. That means, well, that's a dead giveaway if you're in the woods and you smell something like that then, because then you say, hey, there's definitely something here,
And like you said, it becomes quiet. You don't hear no birds. You don't hear no bugs. I'll just say this. I lived on a farm for 3 months working for, it's funny, piano guy. And he had a business down in Baltimore City in Canton. And I worked at ABC Rental with a friend. And he came in to get some supplies. And he heard me complaining that, man, this job sucks. So he come over and asked me if I wanted a job. And I'd have to stay there during the week and go home on the weekends if I wanted to. Okay. And he had a big problem with Bigfoot and their babies, juveniles. And I'll get into it another time. But let me show you a picture. This is a picture taken by Craig Sulk, Sulk, I believe. Yeah. And he has since passed on. But what do you think of this picture he took? Well, not took, but got from a trail cam.
Well, it definitely looks like something in the pretty big standing there. It looks like 2 legs and shoulders.
I've seen a lot of people comment and say, "Oh, that's a person." That's way too tall to be a person.
Yeah, it looks like something really
Andre,
big.
Yeah,
it looks really big.
You can see it's at least 8 feet.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
7 or 8
looks
feet,
big.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a regular person. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, let me throw this picture in there. Here's one from a conference I did in Alabama. Your buddy's in this picture. That is Bill Bean, Keith Age, Kane Hodder.
Yep.
That plays Jason. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Keith too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try. I haven't talked to him in forever, but I'm gonna try to have him on the show one night. And,
Who, Keith?
Keith, yes.
Yeah.
I just had Bill on last week. And,
Yeah, Bill's a good guy.
Now,
real good guy.
Yeah, real good guy. You remember me telling you about the sighting? That's another one I'm going to get into one night. Probably going to post it when I do my Maryland Paranormal Research Team reunion. I'm going to do it online. And the type of reunion I'm going to have is I'm going to invite former members, and I'm going to show photos and videos and, memories and stuff like that. The ones that passed on since. Let's see, what did I do with it?
Yeah, because I met you some year. Man, that was a long time ago. That was probably 15 years ago when we did Ramblewood.
Ramblewood, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been that long?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
A long time ago.
You know the story that I told you that happened to me here, but happened to me and my son first.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish I could get him to open up, but he won't. He's just not into that stuff. Don't want to discuss it. And he's into his magic cards and that sort of thing. But And he's had an experience. He had an experience at Fort Howard State Hospital on the old battleground.
Really?
He was in there one night with some friends, and he said all the electricity went out, and he started hearing guns. He started hearing cannons firing, and he said it sounded like soldiers charging, and he doesn't believe. but he left that in there real quick.
Yeah, you hear cannon fire and everything else. Yeah, why would you be hearing cannon fire?
Right.
I mean,
but that incident that I had by myself, I'm just going to give you a comparison of what I'm going to show you this photo, but not exactly. The body, yes, but the face, no. And it was much darker. It was more blacker. So I'm going to pull it up.
that's what the body looked like.
That's what the body looked like, but it had more hair, on its chest, but it had that.
That's creepy looking, man.
What do I want to call it? The steroid look.
Yeah, like it was pumped up.
Yeah, like it was, it stood on its hind legs and it was boxing. And as soon as that car turned left onto my street, it took off. And the weird thing was it like vanished because it, the car lights were shining down the street on it. And then I just couldn't see it anymore. I'm like, where did it go? And I was backing up. So I'll share that on one of my shows.
That's creepy to see in the dark. You're in the woods or something. You see something like that, man. That's kind of creepy. But I was reading some things about the government was actually looking into like werewolves and stuff like that. That's the whole reason they hired Bigelow to go out to Skinwalker Ranch, was to try to figure out things going on out there with these cryptids and skinwalkers. And so, yeah, the government's definitely aware of these things, that these cryptids that are out there, and it's not some make-believe stuff. They're really out there, Now,
the first time when me and my son saw it together, it was a smaller one, and it was creeping behind us about 15 feet.
That's not far.
Coming past the entrance of my driveway, because we were standing behind his SUV, and he turned around and said, "What the?"
Oh, it gave me creeps. That gave me creeps.
Said, what was that? I said, "Was that a dog?" He said, "Didn't look like a dog to me, But it has. Let me show you this. It has a long body, because
kind of like a wolf.
Right, when it stood up in the road, it was taller than me. So I'm 6 foot, so it had to be 7 foot easy. And
that's
huge.
Big. That's big. And a wolf isn't going to have steroid looking features. You know what I mean? They're like a dog. A big dog. And
right, and it had the fangs, the teeth, and it was like, I'm not going to say foaming, but it was like. It was making a noise with its mouth, and I was praying to God. I said, "Please don't let me get tore up." I'm trying to back up.
How far away were you from it? How far away were you from it?
When it stopped in the middle of the road, because I was picking my trash cans up, they blew over. It was a real bad windy storm that night. It was about around 3:00 in the morning. I'm going to say 10, 12, 13 feet. Maybe
that's not far. That's not far. That's not far.
Yeah, and its eyes were glowing yellow, and I was like, oh my God,
Oh, it was yellow. Wow.
Yeah, the eye. Yeah, and,
that's freaky, man. That's freaky.
Most of them that's been seen around here have red eyes. Now I looked it up. What's his name? Lon Strickler has a lot of reports from people in the Bucks County area of these cryptid canine, looking creatures. And it's just the closest sighting to me of a Bigfoot was a half a mile from me.
Wow.
So that's how close I live to, acres and acres of woods and, rough terrain and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't want to see it.
You should try to should try to get Eric Altman on your show, man. He's a Bigfoot researcher. He's a pretty cool guy.
I got his name. I got his name written down.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I know Eric. I know Eric.
Yeah, I know he's not doing too much anymore, and I think he's getting ready to retire from it altogether. But I'm not sure. I'm gonna send him an email and see if I can get him on his show. Are you familiar with Jay? Let me get his last name right, because you won't like me anymore if I get it wrong. But Chochin.
Chochin. Not familiar with him.
Here's what he does. What did I do with it? Let me just start this up there.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of him before. Yeah, I don't know him personally though. But I've seen pictures of him around.
Right, he has these out. Finding J1.
Yeah. Yep.
And Beyond the Kettle. Finding
J2. Yep. I've seen him on Prime. Yeah, I was checking him out on Prime Video one time. I think I watched one of his videos on there actually.
Right. I got both. I got all that, what I just showed you. And he's a pretty nice guy, so I'm going to be having him on here.
Nice.
And let's see. Mike Supa. Are you familiar with him?
Yes. Okay, I don't know him personally, but I know of him, yeah.
Right. He's a guitarist. He's played with Ozzy Osbourne and a lot of, well-known names. Bands and stuff like that, but he had a sighting of a Bigfoot up in Whitehall, New York. So he's going to come on the show. He's going to talk about that, and that's going to be a good one.
That's cool.
Let's get back to you. I just want to throw this up there, and then let's see. I think I had. This one I want to discuss with you. Featured in American Paranormal Magazine. Front cover at that.
Yeah, we made the cover story, American Paranormal Magazine, yeah. Pretty cool.
Right.
They contacted me and said that we had been nominated for to be in the magazine. I was like, nominated? He said, yeah. A lot of people had sent in the email saying they wanted to nominate us for the magazine. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they put us on the cover and did a cover story on us. And when we got the magazine, we started reading the article. A lot of people that I didn't know were following us, they commented in the magazine online, saying about how they were at lectures with us. They had seen lectures and commented how we were very professional, and some of our clients actually emailed in there. I was really surprised. I was like, wow, we had a lot of comments and likes, and they have like a heart system, like 5 hearts, or something like that, 5 stars, and a lot of people gave us 5 stars and stuff. I was like, wow, I was really impressed, that people had been following us all these years. Like we've been doing it for 20 years, so. It's nice to have clients call in or message and say, we did a good job with them, and help them. And I mean, that's what we do it for, to help them, we do it for our own curiosity as well, but mainly it's to help people, not all things have a happy ending. Like, you see on the TV shows, every TV show has a happy ending, and, not all these cases have a happy ending. More or less, none of them ever have a happy ending, none of the stuff ever really goes away. It's just unpredictable. You can't say you're going to go into somebody's house and get rid of something and guarantee it, because there are no guarantees in this stuff.
Oh yeah. Now I started in 2003, well, with my group, but like I said, I started back when I was 19, just like you did. Watching sightings in search of and.
Oh yeah.
And on sightings, one of my favorites was Al Rober. He was like top of the line with EVPs. I mean, he was experimenting with white noise and TVs and all sorts of stuff. And we've became friends over the year. I'd like to get him on there, but I don't think he's really into it anymore and doing anything. But where was it? I wanted to. God, please tell me I did put it in there. Well, I guess I didn't. But let's go ahead and get back to you. So, are you currently involved in any investigations right now? I know, you can't really talk about it where and stuff like that. But
I'm actively doing cases. Yeah.
Do you think it's increased or declined, even because we had COVID and all that?
It sucked while we were at COVID because nobody wanted people in their homes.
Right.
But now COVID's over. Yeah, it's increased. Our case load is. I got 2 cases today. Like one day, I just got 2 cases. I'm like, damn! Someone called me, and then I got an email. I'm like, damn! I already got 2 cases in one day. So sometimes we got to do multiple investigations on a weekend, or it depends on what the caseload is. If there's kids involved, they're always priority for us, and we try to get jump on that right away and help. And we just did one with a couple of children in Mechanicsburg, and it was an interesting case. I caught like 75 EVPs out of this house. I've never caught that many out of a house before. And disembodied voices, caught a bunch of disembodied voices, weird bangings. I got touched by something in the kids' room, the oldest daughter's room. It was pretty interesting. That was actually really cool that when it happened. I felt this static. Well, I was plugged into my recorder. They call it live EVP now, but I just call it plugging in. I've done it for 20 years. You know what I mean? I watched Ed Warren do it when, Ed Warren used to do it with the old boom mic, you know what I mean? And plug into a tape deck. But that's what I was doing. I was plugged into the recorder and I was listening for EVPs. And all of a sudden I heard this weird ass like white noise in the recorder. Like, and recorders usually don't get static like that. And I was using a Tascam, and it went shh, like all this white noise got in the recorder. I was like, "The hell!" But in the white noise, I heard a voice, and it said something. I couldn't make it out at first, but I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "That was a voice." And then all of a sudden, I felt this static charge all over my my left arm, the arm I was holding the recorder in, and all the hair stood up on my arm, and I was like, "Wow, that was pretty cool." I said, I heard a voice. And I got all the static charge in my arm that I could feel. Like you could feel it on your arm. It was interesting. I've never had that happen before in a case. And it happened. It was cool. I was like, that was pretty cool. I was like, but you're gonna have to do a hell lot more than that to scare me out of the room. You know what I mean? So I think it was definitely there to try to intimidate us and do things to try to get us out of the house, because it did say like get out of my house and things like that in the EVPs. And but yeah, I caught like 75 EVPs out of there. I've never caught that many EVPs out of a house before, and that house was really active. And the mother felt kind of bad because the kids were experiencing a phenomenon and she wasn't. And once we told her, we were experiencing things upstairs because the children were upstairs, she slept downstairs. And once we told her that the phenomena moved downstairs, because the kids, she would no longer let the kids sleep upstairs. They were sleeping all downstairs. And once that happened, the phenomena came downstairs and they started experiencing things downstairs. The beds were shaking, things like that. They were hearing voices. And we did a little research on the house, and someone did die in the house. Allegedly, the wife pushed the husband down the stairs. He fell down the stairs and he died. And some of the EVPs were referencing that happening. In one EVP, it said, "The bitch shoved me." And I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm listening to EVPs and you hear this man's voice go, "The bitch shoved me." And it's coinciding what really happened in the house. And it was never considered a murder. The people were Mennonites. And, they don't really talk to police and things like that. So it never got charged as a murder. It was just as like an accidental death. Like he fell down the stairs, broke his neck or whatever, and he died. But one of the children did find him on the stairs, before he passed, and he said they asked him what happened, and he said that the wife had pushed him down the stairs. So all the kids knew that the mother killed him, pushed him down the stairs, and he died from the fall. But it was interesting, man. It has to have that many EVPs that are really intelligently answering questions, and we got names. At one point, I said, can you tell us your name? And we heard a little kid say Henry, and the little girl, the youngest little girl, was seeing kids in the room, like small kids. She said that she would play with them at the she had like a little stove thing, and she would play with them. And sure enough, we hear a little kid say his name was Henry. And this house was pretty old, probably built in the 1800s, somewhere around there in Mechanicsburg. It was near the old railroad station. And yeah, man, it was interesting. It was a real cool case. We caught a lot of evidence out of there. We're actually going to go tomorrow and present it to them. So they're going to be blown away by some of the stuff we caught.
Yeah. Do you remember Paranormal State?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Did you watch that show or?
Yeah, I watched it a couple times back in the day with Chip
was a
Coffey
case-
and Ryan Buell and
Right.
Katrina Weidman. Yeah.
There was a case called Smoking Shadows. It was about a woman that claimed her house was haunted, and my team went in, and we investigated like three or four times, and I came to the conclusion that she was doing this because she was writing a book and was going to try to have it published. I don't know if it ever became published. But it got to the point where I told her, I'm going to return your CD with your photos and your EVPs and stuff like that. She had a guy that was living with her. And he was he was in the war, and the war kind of messed his head up. So he was her handyman, and he would fix things around the house, and that was his way of paying rent. He had a place to live and a roof over his head. But anyway, she got pissed off. She threatened to sue me and, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, whatever. So she contacted Paranormal State, and they did a show called Smoking Shadows. And Chip Coffey went in there, and, Ryan. And at the end, they basically did the same thing. They busted their ass and, told him that they could, recommend a psychiatrist for him to see, and that he needed help. And they wanted me to appear on the show for that taping, but I told them no. I said not after she threatened to sue me. So,
yeah,
my God, man, she was calling me up in the middle of the night, telling me there's saw blades stuck in my sheetrock walls, and she would hear a noise and she would go downstairs and there would be saw blades stuck in the sheetrock. Well, he was throwing them into the wall and going out the basement door and coming around the other side, stuff like that. But yeah, if you never saw that episode, you might want to check it out. It's pretty neat. Yeah. I mean, you see them kind of episodes every now and then, like you said, you've, people that are faking stuff just to have a paranormal group come in the house, and, whether it's just because they think it's neat, or they're writing a book, or they're doing a documentary or something, and they just want, to push it a little bit. So you got to watch out for stuff like that, because that's happened to my group a couple times.
Yeah, man. I've had all kinds of weird stuff happen with people, man. They do some really weird stuff. Yeah, they hear some stupid stuff and think that the house is haunted, and just like, no, but, it's not. It's just natural stuff going on,
Mm-hmm. What was it like to work with Jason Hulls?
Really cool, man. He's a really good guy, down to earth, very knowledgeable about the paranormal field. And I had a really good time investigating with him, Tango, Steve, and Sherry. I was really surprised. I thought, maybe that he would be a little different being a paranormal celebrity, and TV celebrity. But man, he was really, really cool and definitely kind of guy I would hang out with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like a down to earth kind of construction guy to me. I'm in construction, so just the
Right.
way he talks and the way he interacts with people is just the same way I do. So it was easy to relate to him, and I enjoyed doing the investigation with him, and he kind of got me guided in the right direction with paranormal things way back when he started the Taps family, and I've been a part of the Taps family since its creation. So we basically followed all of his guidelines of how they investigated and just stuck with that. You know what I mean? We try to steer away from the whole TV genre thing with, like Ghost Adventure kind of style stuff. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't go into the house provoking and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's not cool. People got to live there, and you do stuff like that, and something gets worse, and somebody gets hurt. That's going to be on your head. You know what I mean? You're going to have to live with that. And it's not an easy thing to live with if something happens to a child or something behind something you did. Not a cool thing. And
Right.
you got to tread lightly in these cases. They're serious.
Yeah. Now, Taps was supposed to come to Ramblewood and do a taping, and I don't know, there was something going on with the producer, and they just never got around to it and came out. And I think it might have had something to do with the owner of Ramblewood too, but something he wouldn't do, or say. Something of that, but I wish it would have happened. It would have been pretty neat. I wanted to. I never met him, but that's why I asked how it was to work with him, because I've had people tell me he's a grump, he's a grouch.
No, not at all, man. It was great. I was surprised, man. I was like, I figured he was going to be the same way too. I was like, man, he's probably going to be uptight, and from what I heard, like stories like Zach Bagans and all them, that they were, he's not a very cool guy. But I've never met
Right.
Zach Bagans, so I can't really tell he's not a cool guy or he's not. But I just thought maybe paranormal celebrity might have, being a celebrity might have pumped his head up a little bit. But nah, man, he was super cool and definitely a kind of guy I would hang out with, And he was pretty straightforward too, which I liked about it. Like we sat down, we talked, and he was like, the biggest thing with this man is to be honest about everything. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't, if I wasn't honest. You know what I mean? This is the kind of thing I do. If this is all we have is our integrity in this thing. That's it. We don't get any money. You're on a TV show, you don't get any money. You're not getting anything out of it, but you're on TV with these guys. I mean, these guys they're icons in the paranormal field. You know what I mean? You see them on TV. Right. They've led the way in paranormal investigations. So, I'm on TV with them. But why would I lie about something? I would never do that. And that's what I told him. And he was really cool with everything. And I said, this stuff happened to me. I mean, if it doesn't happen to you, I can't. Paranormal phenomena is unpredictable. It's either going to be happening or it's not going to be happening. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Sometimes you go there, it's active. Sometimes it's not active. You know what I mean? And when we were there, we had a few weird things happen. Nothing real crazy like we did when we were there. But we did hear voices and stuff like that. This low whispering and stuff. Me and Tango had heard it up in the attic, and we thought it was the cameraman. And I'm like reference to the camera guys. I'm like, are you guys like whispering or something? And he was like, we're not saying anything. I'm like, you didn't whisper back and forth to each other? He's like, no. And Tango said, yeah, man, I heard that. I heard whispering. And I was like, yeah, I heard whispering too. And we definitely had some things happen, and but nothing real crazy. But I was surprised because we were there for a week investigating, and I thought something might kick off when we were there. But they don't have things happen all the time. But when they do have things happen, it's intense. You know what I mean? They're seeing full bodied apparitions, and they're hearing voices and banging and crying, and they have a lot of stuff going on, but it's periodically. It's not all the time. I mean, sometimes they'll have shit happening like every day for like a week. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it's nothing. For a month month and a half. When Bill went out and Bill Bean came out and gave me a hand and did a deliverance there, the activity stopped for a long period of time, for like maybe almost a year, somewhere around there, 8-9 months. And then it came back, and I was telling Bill that, and Bill said, well, I'll do anything I can to help them. And I think he's going to be in talks with them, probably go back and try to help them some more, because there's definitely things in the house that are strange, man. Like there's some really weird, creepy, negative stuff in the house for sure.
Hey John, let's take a quick break. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a plug real quick. I'll give you time to go to the bathroom and maybe get yourself something to drink. I got to do the same thing. So I'm going to put this up here and play it. And if I have to cut it as soon as I get back to this chair, I will. And then we're going to talk about your podcast.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Be right back.
All righty.
My name is Jay Bachochin. I'm an investigator in Wisconsin who's searching for the truth. I've investigated ghosts. I've investigated UFOs. I even took a crack at solving an unsolved mystery. But all of that was put on hold just because of one night in the Kettle Moraine. Over there, left. Could it be Bigfoot? Does Bigfoot even exist? All I know is that something mysterious roams these woods, and I want to know what it is. Join me on my 5 years of research of 20 different people. Explain it, Eric.
I can't.
Explain how it's following us.
Why is that dangerous?
What could have done it? What could have thrown those rocks?
Lights and my Mars lights, overhead lights, and I hit my spotlight on it, and what I saw was a big surprise.
A sound of something coming through the trees, and there was a thunk right at our feet, and we realized that a rock had been flung from the woods to land precisely between us.
What the hell was that?
What is it?
If it hit him, it meant to kill him.
300 minimum?
Yeah, it's a big rock. Let's look.
Because I'm just trying to get past him. We're running for our lives at this point, and you hear right behind us, BAM!
This hill is where I heard the thump, not far off from where I'm standing.
I set out on a journey. A journey of mysteries.
Do you see it? There's two!
A journey of adventure. A journey to find the truth. Because all truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them, to find them. Or will they find me?
All right, we're back, and we're talking to John Curley. And we're going to talk about his podcast that he has. I believe he's doing it every Sunday morning.
Yeah, I do it. I try to record it I've been trying to do a new thing on Sundays called the Sunday Morning Pair Talk with a cup of coffee. And, I get up early in the morning. So my work, yep. Nothing like a cup of coffee and talking about ghosts, man.
That's it.
My work schedule gets kind of crazy. So I was doing it live for a period of time, but my work schedule is kind of crazy right now. Got a lot of work going on. So I get home at crazy hours and it's just not viable to do a live show right now until things cool down for me. But Sunday mornings, I get up early and I'll do the Sunday Morning Pair Talk and have some guests on. Last week I had Eric Sims on and we talked for like 2 hours, man, just on paranormal stuff. And it's great, man. I like to sit down and nothing like having a cup of coffee, sun's coming up, and talking about ghosts, man. Best thing. Any kind of paranormal stuff, Bigfoot, I don't care what it is.
That's right.
Want to talk about some UFOs? Let's talk about some UFOs. Those aliens, I'm down for all that, man. I love it.
Man, all that.
Anything paranormal, I'm down with it. UFOs paranormal,
You see that top word up there?
Coffee
Coffee tastes better when you're retired.
Yeah.
But you're not there yet, so
No.
No.
I don't think I'll ever be able to retire. I'll probably be working till the day to kick dirt over my butt, but I'm down for it. It gives me something to look forward to every day. Get up and go to work, and it is what it is. Work's work, man. We're going to be doing it. It is what it is. Brings home the bacon, so helps me do this. So it pays for this for doing this, and
there you go.
Doing the Paranormal Journal podcast, and I have guests on. I have some of my clients on sometimes, and talking about their, phenomena that goes on in their homes, and
right.
I'll bring guests on and talk about things, but I just like talking about paranormal things in general, and I bring people on. Let's just shoot the breeze, man. You got some stories, I want to hear them. I like hearing everybody's stories about stuff they've had happen to them. Have to get you on a Sunday morning, man. We'll have a cup of coffee and talk some Sunday morning para talk, man. We'll have a paranormal sit down, brother.
There you go.
I call it the paranormal sit down. It's like a mafia sit down with some coffee with some paranormal stuff. So I'm down with it, man.
Well, anytime you got something you want to, you want to get the word out, advertisement, whatever. Just send it to me and I'll put it out there for you, man. Ain't no problem.
Yeah, definitely, man. I've been doing I wasn't into the whole Paracon thing for a lot of years, but here lately we're gonna start doing some Paracons, and we're gonna be at Pennhurst in May. Then we're gonna be in Gettysburg at the Battlefield Bash in July, and then we're gonna be at the Hell House in September. So it's gonna be an interesting year. We're gonna be getting out doing some things.
When in September? I'm sorry.
September 9th, I believe it is.
Okay.
The Hell House.
Me and John's going to be going to West Virginia. We're going to be doing a 3-day Bigfoot hunt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's up in the Appalachian, up in the mountains, 800 acres. I have the whole 800 acres, and
wow.
We're going to set up, camp, tents, all that good stuff. I'm going to be looking to do a documentary, and I'm going to use some of the footage for that documentary because I'm going to do a road trip video.
Nice.
Also, so maybe you might have time. It's going to be a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, and coming home Monday
in September.
Yeah, late September.
Yeah, man. Let me know.
Yeah,
I'm definitely down for that, man.
Yeah, the property belongs to my family, but it's mainly my nephew that's been having some experiences on the property. He goes out, and they sold a piece of the property to a guy that built a cabin, and he just loves to go up there and go deer hunting. And they don't even eat deer meat, so they give all the meat to my family.
Oh, nice.
My nephew's been out there, cutting down trees for this guy, and he's had rocks thrown at him. He's had, branches thrown at him, nuts, and
Wow.
and sometimes he goes out in the woods and he likes to look for, what do they call it, mushrooms and
All wild mushrooms.
these plants that he takes to a place and they do something with it and they sell it to a doctor,
Like ginseng.
Yes,
Gotcha.
he does that. And
That's big bucks, man.
yeah, he's found footprints, but he knows nothing about casting or anything like that. So he said he just took a picture and that was good enough for him. So yeah, we're gonna be there for 3 days, and we're gonna have the 4-wheelers and all that stuff, and pitching tents, and
Nice.
going up in the Appalachian and seeing what we can get. Do some tree knocking, and I'm not one that gets out there and starts yelling and doing that whooping, but I will do a call blast, pre-recorded
Yeah.
from
yeah.
a loudspeaker. So I,
Be like Bobo and do the woo. Like Bobo.
can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't say it, man. So yeah, I will do some call blasting from
They said can't do it.
Can't do it.
Oh my god.
It's bad enough that I don't have teeth anymore, so sometimes I'm tripping over my tongue with my gums, and no, I'm not a bobo, so I can't get out there and do it that way. But we're gonna have fun. It's going to be a
Sounds
nice
like it.
3-day, and we're gonna go out and teams. There's other people that's going as well, and my nephew's gonna show us, where he's had experiences, what areas to go to, and that stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, you gotta try it, man. You gotta get out there and go Bigfooting, man.
Oh, definitely, man. That's definitely something I want to do. And Carl, one of my members, he's been wanting to do that too. So yeah, man, let me know and
Talk to him. Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely down for that, man. Definitely.
Yeah. So, I have a Bigfoot team, Mid-Atlantic Bigfoot Research, but I'm still looking for members. And it's been, I don't know why. I guess this COVID thing is still lingering somewhat. I do have a few members, but I don't have what I need. So as soon as I get my my quote, then we're going to get out there and start, putting boots on the ground and getting out there. Right now, I'm mainly just myself, and the other ones when they have time. So
You got a website built yet, or
no, I got to get in touch with Drew McCormick. He's a good website builder, and I've talked to him before about building it, but he's had some serious health issues. He had his knee replacement done. I don't know if you remember Drew McCormick, but he had a knee replacement done, and then they had to amputate his whole leg, and they've been trying to put a prosthetic leg on him, and he's just been having nothing but bad luck with it. So
wow.
As soon as I hear
Sorry to
some
hear
good
that.
stuff, I'm gonna, ask him to do my website. I might do something for now that I know how to do, but this guy built websites for the government.
Oh
So,
wow. Wow, yeah.
yeah. So he's really, really good at building websites.
Yeah, I built my own website. I was gonna pay somebody, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I can do it. I just went on like GoDaddy and
Drag and
looked
drop.
at it. I was like, yeah, I can do this, man. It's no problem. Blah, 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 blah. Done. No big deal.
Yeah. So does your team travel? Do they go out of state?
Oh yeah. We've been, like I said, we've been as far as Ohio, northwise, and as far south as North Carolina. We've been down North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Wow. So
If it's that real good, if it's that much activity going on, I'll go anywhere, man. If I can,
oh yeah.
if I can experience some phenomena that I've never experienced before and try to help somebody in the process, I'm there. I'll get a hotel. I'm on the road, man.
Oh yeah, my team, Maryland Paranormal Research Team. I don't know what it was. I just seemed to be blessed with always getting good stuff, and I had other paranormal teams that would email me and say, "What are you doing? How do you do that? How are you getting in there?" I was told no 3 times. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I had the VA hospital in Fort Howard State Hospital, the nursing home, and the morgue. I had that for a whole year.
Nice.
And I was taking people in there, and we were, doing investigations. And I'll tell you what, I got some nasty stuff out of there, man.
I bet. Yeah, I had Landon House for, man, I think 5 years, almost 7 years, something like that. Yeah.
I think I've been there.
Yeah, I had Dana Wingert and them there. They were there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Cool.
The guy actually wanted me to run it, but I told him I didn't have the time. I said, I have so many cases going on, and
yeah,
when I don't, I have something else to do, so.
Yeah, I did that place for, man, a lot of years. Great place. It's really haunted. It's extremely haunted.
Yeah, we were there one year. We were filming in the room, and we were actually filming and doing a interview, and there was a knock at the door, and one of my members was actually standing in front of the door, so he quickly just turned around, opened the door, walked out, looked left, looked right, nobody around.
Yeah.
And there's no way that somebody could have knocked on that door and ran or walked and got away that quick.
No,
you had a good distance on both sides of you, left side, right side. So.
Yeah, it was a long porch, so you're not getting off of that porch without somebody seeing you.
Well, this wasn't on a porch. This was in one of the hallways.
Oh, in the hallway, yeah. You're not getting out of there. On the second floor, they had all those rooms.
Right.
So yeah, you're not getting out of that hallway without somebody seeing you. It was a long hallway. It was crazy. That thing was long. Yeah, man, that place is really haunted. I've seen shadow figures there 3 different times. One was with one of the owner's friends. We were sitting on the couch, and I had got Chip Coffey and those guys there from Psychic Kids, and I knew the producer from when we did The Haunted, and he asked me if there's a place I knew. I was like, yeah, I know a place, man. Come down here, and he came down, and we went through stuff, and he said, I can get Psychic Kids down here. I said, yeah, bring them down. So they filmed, but the week later, I was down there investigating with the owner's friend, and it was a woman, and she didn't really believe in all this stuff. So they had couches there. We're sitting on the couch and just looking at where the front porch was, and sure enough, man, a shadow figure just walks right out on the front porch, past the window. You just see the silhouette glide past the window. I hear her go. I was like, "You seen that?" She goes, "You seen it?" I said, "Yeah." It was a shadow figure. Went by the window. She goes, "Yeah." I was like, so I got up and I went to the front door, and I opened the front door, and there was nobody there. But you didn't hear any footsteps. It was just glided right past the window. Like, I was like, "Oh, that was cool, man. That was really cool." And I seen one another time. I was there investigating, and I was the last one there. And I was always the last one there because I locked everything up, made sure everything was locked up. And I came out. It was about 4 a.m. Everybody was gone. I was the last one in. I opened the door, walked out, and there's a shadow figure at the end of the deck of the front porch, looking in the parlor area where the parlor was. And I'm like, I thought it was a person at first, and I'm like a living person, I'm like, what the hell? And I looked down there, and I stepped out onto the porch, and the board made a creak, like, and when it did, it turned. And when it turned, I seen it was just a silhouette, like, of a person, no facial features, just black. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was probably maybe 20 feet away, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, what? I didn't know what to do. I was just standing there, like, I didn't have any equipment. I was leaving. I was going home. I'm like,
Yeah, I
can't
mentioned
believe
that
it.
earlier. Yeah.
I'm just like standing there in shock that I'm seeing it, and I'm like, oh my God, dude. And I think it was more scared of me than I was of it. And it turned and went the other way, but it went real fast and it went through the railing and down to the ground. And I'm like, but it left like like a smoke, like a vapor trail or something. It was weird. It's this black, misty vapor trail kind of thing. I was like, what the hell? And I didn't run down there, but I walked down to where it went through the railing, and I was like, looked over the railing, thinking it was going to be standing down there or something. And I'm like, it's not there. Yeah, I'm getting out of here. I locked up the doors, and when I got home, probably around 10 o'clock, the owner called me, and he goes, hey man, I'm gonna have to bust your chops a little bit. I was like, what's wrong? He goes, all the doors were open to the house. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, all the doors were open, wide open, like wide open. You left all the doors open. I'm like, nah, man, I don't leave any doors open. He goes, yeah, dude, all the doors were open. I'm like, I locked every door when I left the house. I was the last one out of the house. There was no one there left but me. I said, all the doors were locked. I said, but I did see a weird figure out on the porch. He's like, a figure? I was like, yeah, like a shadow figure or something, man. I don't know what it was. It was a ghost. He's like, I never seen anything there. I've never seen anything there, and I've lived there. I've owned that place for 12 years. I'm like, I'm just telling you what I seen, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I seen, and now you're telling me the doors are open. I said, I can't explain that. They were locked. I locked them. You know what I mean? I have the key. I locked them. They were locked. And he goes, dude, I thought someone broke in the Landon house or something. I'm like, nah, dude. They were locked, man. I said, something paranormal opened those doors. There's no way they opened by themselves. It was a cool place. Very cool place, man. I used to hear disembodied voices all the time, whistling, footsteps. I mean, that place had the whole trifecta, man. I mean, it was the most haunted place I've ever investigated. Really cool place. Wish I could still investigate it.
Yeah, I'll share something with you real quick. I was left at Ramblewood by myself. A team came in. I won't mention their name, but anyway, they came in and they did their investigation, but they were provoking and really just getting on my nerves. So I said something to them more than once. So I must have pissed them off, and they decided they were going to leave, and so they did. But I was left in there by myself, and I was on the first floor in that room, which I call the family room, the room where everybody would gather and get their batteries put in and all that stuff. And so after they left, everything was pretty quiet, and I said, I always told a team that when you leave, don't shut none of the bedroom doors upstairs. Leave them open. Okay. So I go in and I lay down on the couch and I said, that's it. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm going to get some shut eye and get up in the morning and have some breakfast and wait for the next team to arrive that was going to do it overnight. And I was laying on the couch and all of a sudden I started hearing boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
So I get up and I'm like, should I or no? And I'm like, I got to go look. So I creeped up the steps, went up the other set, got onto the landing, and I looked down the hall both ways. Every bedroom door was shut.
Wow.
That's what that noise was.
All the doors slamming.
Yes, because before they left, I took one of the members upstairs with me because like I said, I would tell the team, don't shut none of the doors, leave them all open, including the attic entrance. And they were all open. And then they left. And then I went in to lay down. As soon as I closed my eyes, boom, boom, boom. So I go up and every bedroom door was slammed shut. Wow. Two of them I had to force open because they were probably slammed so hard. I had
jammed
to
up
put
the
my
lock
shoulder on it. Yeah, I had to put my shoulder on it and really give it a good shove to get it open. So where I went? You remember what was on the outside of the house?
Yeah. Yep.
The kitchen.
Yeah. Yep. Get the hell out of
Yeah.
there, huh?
So that's where I went. There was a little cot in there. So I went in there and I was a sissy. I locked the door, man. And then to top that off, I woke up like about 5 a.m. to get something to drink. And I opened the door and I just glanced out onto the porch. And there's a freaking bear out there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't huge, but it was big enough. So I shut the door, locked it again, and I'm like, please don't come near the window. The bear did see me, looking out the door. And
yeah.
Oh, my God, what a night, man.
That place was pretty cool. I liked Bramblewood. We caught a lot of stuff out of there. It was a pretty cool place. I enjoyed it.
And so I finally gave it up like in, I believe it was around 2017 or something like that. 17 or 18, I gave it up, and Dana and her husband took it over for a while.
Yeah.
And I started reaching a point where I was like, I'm tired. I've had enough for a while, and I needed to calm down. I was all up and down the East Coast, man. I mean, you name it, I was probably there. I went to a lot of the mental hospitals up in New York and upstate New York, and road trips, and just spending too much time, on the road. And I had to settle down and just, give it a break. So I left it alone for a while, and then my wife and myself, we both became ill, and, now we're better. And I've been I'm not getting back into the paranormal, but I'm going to, do this Bigfoot thing because it's always been on my bucket list to
yeah, that's cool,
to do investigations. So yeah, let's see here, what was it, were there ever times where you felt like you were an EVP magnet?
Oh yeah
I had those
I
had that happen to me. It would be good for a while, and then it would just like die off, and then it was like, and then it would pick back up, and I'm like, and everybody in my group was like, why are you getting all the good EVPs and we're getting nothing?
Yep.
I'm like, how am I going to tell you that?
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, my people say the same thing. Like, I'll be in an investigation and I'll be plugged in and walk around and hear my name or something. Like, John, I was like, you hear that? They're like, what? Like, you hear my name? They're like, no. Or I hear a lot of things they don't hear it at all. And
it's like my members went down in the basement to do an EVP session, and they started asking questions, and they did like a 3-4 minute session, come back up, went in the kitchen to listen to it with headphones, and it said, "Where's Dave?"
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I got all that documentation. I don't, I got it on flash drives. I got about 30 flash drives. I was looking at them earlier today, and I got to clean them off and get them on a hard drive.
Yeah, I put all mine on a external hard drive, like a 7 terabyte hard drive. Because if your computer gets jammed up or something, man, they're just going to be gone. It's just like, man, I can't lose all that evidence that all those cases I've done, and it's just too much. Just
right.
It's a lot of hard-earned hours on those EVPs listening to that stuff. And I'm not gonna. I've lost some over the past. Computers got viruses, and I couldn't get. I lost some good stuff, and I was like, damn, man. I put everything on an external hard drive now, just in case.
Well, the only way I've ever lost them was keeping them on a flash drive too long. Why it happened, I don't know. I can't explain it. But like, I was going through those 30 flash drives today, and I lost some stuff. But I had it on another flash drive, so it opened up and it played, and I was happy, but not all of them. So yeah, don't leave them on a flash drive for a long time. I put them on a hard drive.
Oh yeah, I took all mine off the flash drives and stuck them on that external. I bought like a 7 terabyte hard drive, and I put them all on there, external hard drive.
Yeah, it's really tough when you try to open it up and like, no, that was a classic.
Yeah, do you lose some good stuff?
Yeah.
I've lost
Yeah.
I've lost probably, when that one computer had about 20 case files on there, and I lost them all. I was like, oh my God, man. There was a lot of hours and a lot of audio, a lot of really good stuff on there, EVPs that I lost. I was like, God damn it, man. I said, I'm going to do that again. That's why I just bought the external hard drive, because it's, you spend a lot of time on these cases, man. And, you don't want to lose that kind of stuff.
But I would never do a long EVP session, like 30 minutes. 20. The longest I've ever went with an EVP session would probably be 10 minutes, because I like to be able to listen to it right there and then go back to what I'm doing.
Yeah, I stay plugged in all night live. I stay plugged in all night, and if I hear something, I'll chart it down. I'll log it in on the recorder, and I have a lot of static recorders just laying around all night just recording. So some recorders I'll have 8 hours of recording on it. You know what I mean? And I catch a lot of stuff that way. You'll be downstairs asking questions, and you'll get responses downstairs on the recorders. You're like, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. What's your name? And you hear a voice downstairs saying its name. Like they can hear all throughout the whole house. So that's different things going on. So it's cool to put as many out as you can, because you never know where you're going to get something.
Oh yeah. I remember one time I was sitting at a table with the owner of the house and 3 other members, and we were recording because we were asking her questions about some of the things that had happened. And at this moment, I can't remember what the exact question was, but I heard it with my ear. I heard it. And I told them, I said, let's stop. I said, and play it back. And I told them what it was going to say. And they played it back, and it was on there. But they didn't hear it. I did. With my ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had that happen. That's really strange to have something like that happen. But have I ever been touched? I've been scratched, but I wouldn't say, touched, shoved or anything like that. Have you?
Me? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been touched, been scratched. I got scratched from like here, from the top of my head all the way down to here one time in an investigation, and it was bleeding. It was weird with that. The homeowner had a door taken off the hinges, and it was leaning against the wall, and it had a nice lean on it. I mean, it was leaning like really good lean, and she was standing in front of it, and she's talking to us about the activity that's going on. We're just doing like a little preliminary investigation, talking with her, getting all the information from her. And I see the door, it blows off the wall. It comes right off the wall and just boom, hits her in the head, pins her to the floor. She throws coffee all over me, all over Don. I mean, it was hot as hell too. Like, too hot. I'm like, oh, damn, And she's laying on the ground, and we're trying to get the door off of her. And it feels like the door is weighs like 400 pounds, and I'm like, we couldn't get the door off. And all of a sudden it freed up. Like it felt like there was something on the door. And we finally got the door up, and it was one of those little piece of crap doors, those like cardboard doors, like you could just punch a hole right through. And I'm like, man, this thing's light as hell, So I set it back, where it was, pick her up. She's sitting at the table, and all of a sudden we start hearing this growling noise. Like there's a dog under the table. They had a big white tablecloth over the dining room table, and we're hearing like this growling noise, like a dog. It sounds like a big like German Shepherd or something. And I pick up the tablecloth. I'm like, you have a dog under there? She's like, no. And all of a sudden, like these boxes start shaking in the corner, and I stand up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And Don's looking at me, and he's like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, you see the boxes? They were shaking. He's like, yeah, I know. I seen them. I was like, but I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm like, it's like paranormal phenomena is happening, dude. Like, and we're looking at each other, and he's like, hey. I was like, what? He goes, your face is bleeding. I'm like, what? And I went like this, and I'm like, my face was bleeding. I had a big scratch, like, and it wasn't from the door, and like it happened. Like all of a sudden, it was there, And You know, you see my nails. I don't have any nails. I'm
Right.
a construction worker. I bite them all. You know, I don't have nails. You know, and he's like, "Oh my god, dude! Like your face is real." And it had a whelp. Like it was a whelp, like almost like if a cat would scratch you or something. You know, real fine. And couldn't explain it. I was like, I don't know how the hell that happened. Thinking it was paranormal, but I'm not 100% sure it was paranormal. You know what I mean? I couldn't really validate it was paranormal, but it was definitely strange. I don't know how it happened. And I'm thinking it was definitely paranormal for sure.
Right.
And I've been touched, poked. I got poked in a house in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, like somebody took their thumb and jammed it in the middle of my back. I was sitting in a chair. I freaking jumped up out of that chair. I was like, what the hell? And then it pulled on my shorts. It yanked on my shorts. And I was like, hey. I was like, it was like freaking me out. I was like, whoa. I'm like, damn, I just got poked and something pulled on my shorts. And I'm like, did you pull on my shorts? And we didn't hear it at the time, but we captured EVP and it said, you would know. It's like, you would know. I'm like, wow. Like a direct response. Like, yeah, it definitely pulled on my shorts. You would know because it pulled on them. You know, I'm like, wow, man. And I got touched in Landon House, and I got touched a couple weeks ago, and it's an interesting feeling when it happens. You know what I mean? It surprises you, and you just it's an amazing phenomenon. You know, something's physically touching you, and you can't see it. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Right.
how the hell is that happening? Like I can't see it, but it's physically there touching me, and I can't see nothing. You know, like. What's this thing from some other dimension, you know, that we can't see it on, or it's just there's more questions than answers with this stuff. I don't think we're ever going to find the answer to it. You know what I mean? You see the TV shows, there's always an answer to this stuff, but there are no answers to it. There's a phenomena there, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll share something with you. I think is interesting. I've worked with a number of paranormal teams, as a fill-in, and I've seen teams when they go into a location to set up, and as they're setting up, they don't have anything recording, anything taking a video, and I'll tell you why. I'm mentioning this. My member Ed, one of my members, Ed, all the time, as soon as we got to a location, he would take a tripod, a video camera, audio recorder. And just about every time he would do this, and it became a must after a while. You may miss something as you're setting up, and all teams should do this. I know when they go into a location, they're going to be setting up in multiple rooms, but you have multiple recorders, multiple cameras, not for the hard drive, but like a camcorder, just on a tripod.
Yeah.
In each room, I think a team should set up audio and video of that room while they're setting up. We went into a school teacher's house. She said that her daughter moved out because she was having problems with a spirit. It was scratching her and pushing her and waking her up in the middle of the night. She was hearing it, but she never saw it. And so one night, Ed hooked up a camcorder on a tripod and an audio recorder and turned it on. And I said, "Why are you doing that?" He said, "How do you know we're not? How do you know we're not missing something? Might be something going on." And I just give him a look. And then later that night, we went into this room where we were reviewing evidence, because we were doing short EVPs and video and stuff like that. But we had our cameras running at all time. He plays this recording back that 2 minutes and something into the kitchen when we were setting up, there's a voice that said, "Get out."
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So I always told, other teams, when you go into a location, you should have audio and video going until you get your cameras for your hard drive up and running. You never know what you're going to miss.
Yeah.
You know?
I've missed stuff like that. Same thing.
A lot of people when they're doing videotaping with audio, okay, they might have a shoulder rig and they're recording forward. Okay, they got that audio up here. Yeah, the audio is gonna pick it up if it's a voice. But what if it's not a voice? What if it's a shadow or an apparition?
Yeah.
Should always have cameras in the back too, recording what's behind you, because you're going this way, you're going that way. Something could be walking across behind you, and you're missing it.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I always did that too. But some people are like, that's just a waste of time. I'm like, how is it a waste of time? It's not a waste of time if you get something that's behind you that you didn't see because you're concentrating on what's in front of you. You need to concentrate on what's in front of you and behind you.
Yeah, you might pick up something pretty amazing that was behind you. You never knew was back there.
Exactly. You might have been going down a hallway and a shadow might have walked into a room.
Yeah.
So what time we got? We got 8:52.
8:52. Yep.
So at any time, if you ever have something that you wanna advertise, just let me know, and I'll put it on the show, and I'll post it on my sites. I have like 3 or 4 different sites. So I have Sightings. I have Sightings, the TV show. Bigfoot Sightings. I have Mid-Atlantic. I have the podcast. I think it's 4 or 5. Probably 5. But yeah, anytime you got something you want to get out there, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. Likewise for me too, man. I'll put it on my website, my podcast, whatever.
We got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything you want to touch bases on, or
somebody asked a question in the chat there?
I'm having here. Let me go.
It says ask John about the foul. Oh, it must be John Bowman. John out there?
I just wanted to stop in and say hi. Let me ask him.
I think it's John. Foul odor. Yeah, that foul odor was nasty, and that was a case that John actually got for us in York Haven. John Bowman, and man, that was a wicked, nasty, stink, death smell I ever smelled in my life. Yep, it's John. Yep. Hey, how you doing, John?
Yes,
what's up, brother? Yeah, man, that was the nastiest, stinkiest smell I've ever smelled in my life, man. And John's buddy was right, man. When we started reading Psalms from the Bible, that foul smell kicked in, man. It was gross, man. It smelled like a dead body and like feces mixed. And dude, it would be there like in your face, like really fast, and then it would be gone, man. It was just out of sight. I was like, what the hell, man? It was weird. Only when you read Psalms, and that's exactly what his friend said. He said, man, it would only happen when you read Psalms from the Bible. And there was definitely some really weird stuff in that house, man, in York Haven. I have to tell you that. We had EVP saying the guys, John's friends, girl's name, the kid's names, my name. I was sitting on the couch like 3 o'clock in the morning, man, just had my head back. Just me and another investigator, a female investigator, and it says my name like plain as day, like John. I sat up. I'm like, what the hell? She goes, you hear that? I was like, yeah, I heard it. Why do you think I sat up? She goes, it said your name. I was like, yeah, no kidding. You know what I mean? And then the weird thing is, I had just bought a brand new trailer, right? I had an enclosed trailer out back, and I had the DVR cameras set up out there and everything. We had wiring set up, and my trailer almost burned down, like the wiring. And which I didn't understand is because I had a really heavy gauge extension cord, and it overheated. And somebody said, man, there's smoke coming out of the trailer. I'm like, what? I run down there. Dude almost caught the trailer on fire. I'm like, I've never had that happen before. You know what I mean? Like, I had a heavy gauged extension cord, you know what I mean? Like, really heavy gauged, and couldn't understand why that happened. And it melted that cable up like it was butter, man. Just it was melted smoke everywhere. I'm like, man, I'm glad somebody's seen that, because it was really burned to the ground, you know? But yeah, it was a weird case, man. There was a lot of weird things in that house. I think his buddy wound up moving out right after that. His girl just couldn't handle it anymore and moved out. But his kid almost had like some kind of possession almost. Really weird, man. The daughter locked the father in the basement and then started chasing the younger sister with a pair of scissors and almost killed her. Yeah, was trying to stab her with it.
Terrible.
Yeah, man. And it was weird. There was a lot of weird stuff in that house, man.
Yeah.
And someone was murdered behind the house too. I think some bikers or something, they killed somebody behind the house at one point, some pagans or something like that. And
whoa.
Yeah, it was definitely haunted without a doubt. There was definitely some things there. It's weird that John brought that up because I drove by that house not too long ago with my wife. I was like, "Hey, I investigated that place right there." She was, well, I was like, "Yeah, we were in York Haven. We were going to the dam. I was just going to ride down to the dam." And sure enough, I drove by it. I'm like, "Hey, I investigated that place. That place was crazy haunted." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, it was haunted." But yeah, I thank John for giving me that case. That was a good case.
Yeah. Hey, John, do me a favor, Bowman. The next message you put in there, put your name beside it. I want to see if that works. That's what a friend of mine told me to do. For some reason, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see, well, I can't, but on Facebook doesn't allow the person's name to go with their message. It just says, Facebook user or whatever. And just curious. I've seen it work one time, but then I've mentioned it a couple times, and the guest on other shows just didn't put their name beside it. But are you still on there, John?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm here. I don't know if John's still there, but
yeah, we got like 2 minutes, but there it is, John Bowman. It's not tagging me.
Nope.
Yeah, let me just put there we go. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why Facebook would do. Well, yeah, why Facebook? Yeah, okay. Facebook won't let you do nothing.
Yeah, we definitely got to get together, me, you, and John, man, and do some things,
Yes.
dude, for sure. Because I'm definitely down for all that stuff. Bigfoot,
yeah.
I'm down for all that, man.
Yeah, he was talking about flying his drones, and
That'd be really cool.
My property where I'm living it's huge. Okay, if I wanted 50 people to pitch a tent and camp out, they could. That's how big it is.
Oh, nice.
So, and like right across from me is a farm. Up the road on the left, invite home to the camp out, Dave. Oh, is he saying homie?
Oh, it's invite him to the camp out, Dave.
Oh,
I think he meant to put him.
Yeah.
He's got big fingers like me. I'm always hitting the wrong keys and shit.
But like I said, I'm in a one-street community. There's houses on both sides. And down at the end of the road where that canine cryptid, whatever it was, ran, is a huge piece of property. And on the other side of that, it goes right into the woods. So, like I said, there's acres and acres of woods around here. There was the last Bigfoot sighting was about 6 months ago, about a half of a mile from here. It was a father and a son. They were coming from the firehouse from a meeting, and they crossed the road right in front of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and like I said, Lon Strickler, he has a lot of postings of this canine, dogman like looking creature all around where I'm at. And like I said, man, I tell you, fat fingers, LOL.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
You're the same way.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I
Yep.
hope I never see that thing again. I'll tell you, man.
Yeah, that's
And I'll tell
creepy as
you,
hell.
I don't go out late at night to the trash can after I put it at the end of the driveway on Tuesday nights. Not that often anymore.
I bet.
Uh,
Seeing something like that'll freak you out, man.
oh yeah, because I my muscles and my legs were locked up, but I was shitting and getting, backward.
I bet.
I did not turn around and walk towards the door. I kept my back to my door until I got to it, and I almost fell a couple times in the grass. I had to go around a tree, and I got inside the house, and this guy in the car I guess he thought he was going to chase it down. He went down to the end of the road. He was down there for a while, and then he came back up, and he stopped, and he yelled at me. He was like, "What the F was that?" And then he went up to the top of the road and peeled wheels and made a left turn. I was hoping that he would have gotten out and talked to me a little bit and confirmed what he had seen, because he saw it first. He locked up his brakes and slid to keep from hitting it because it crossed the road. It was crossing the road, and when it saw the headlights, it stood up, and he locked on his brakes, and that's when I looked up, I guess, and was looking up towards the top of the road, which is not, but I would say 100 feet from my mailbox. And I was on the other side of the mailbox picking my 2 trash cans up. So
crazy, man.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't want to see it again. That bad.
That's probably pretty creepy looking, man. Like a werewolf looking kind of thing,
Yeah, I've read about it and, read reports of people having these sightings. a UFO, that's different. Like I said, I was 11 years old when I had my first sighting. And then I was 13 when I had my first paranormal sighting. And by the time I was 19, I was doing the same thing you were doing. I was picking up everything I could read. I was watching everything I could watch. And I just kept going and never lost interest. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it starts, man. Once you get into this, you're hooked,
All right, so we're at 9:03. I'm going to get ahead and do you have any questions for me, or?
Nah, man, just let me know when you got some things going on, and definitely to get you on the maybe get you and John on the Sunday morning para talk with me, man, the paranormal sit down, and let's talk some paranormal stuff, talk some Bigfoot, some UFO, whatever you guys are doing. I'm down for talking with it,
Yeah, like I told you, I'm getting ready to go through again those 30 flash drives I got, and I'm gonna put some stuff on the side for the podcast and for that MPRT reunion. So yeah, I can send you some stuff. We can we can play it, and I have some video, I have tons of audio. So
awesome. Yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
Well, yeah. It looks like all your channels are read only, so you can't reply. Let me see real quick. He's right. Wonder why. Now it's not letting me answer.
Yeah, I can't reply at all either.
There it went. Now it just went out. Okay. All right. Well, John, I want to thank you for being on the show. I know you got to work tomorrow. It's getting late. Thank you ever so much. And it was an honor to have you on the show. And thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Dave, man. Anytime anybody wants to reach out to me, you can go to my website. It's www.harrisburgareaparanormal.com, and leave me a message. My phone number's on there. You can call me. You got anything paranormal going on, give me a shout. I'll be out there.
Let me throw these up there real quick, and then there it is, the Paranormal Journal podcast. That's on what time Sunday?
Whenever we want to do it. You know what I mean? Whenever you wake up, get up out of your pajamas, man. I usually up before the sun comes up. So
No, I mean, what time do you do your paranormal journal on Sundays?
like I said, whenever, man. I pre-record it, so I don't do it live.
okay.
So yeah,
Right.
whenever we're up ready to rock and roll, you know.
Right. Okay. Let me throw your up there again, because these are gonna be rewatched, and it's gonna take some time for me to build it, and I'm still trying to figure out some things that will work better if I do it a certain way, and I've been given advice. We'll see what happens, and all right, John.
All right, brother.
Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Dave. Talk to me soon, brother.
Thank you. Good
All right,
night.
brother. Good night.